Yeah. So yeah, we're here with Seveer of Push Beats, and very happy. We are recording actually a little bit different than normal. This is not our live broadcast, but he's in town for a few days visiting LA from Chicago, so we thought it would be cool to be able to sneak in and get into this secret location we're very happy to be able to secure and use for tonight. So shout out to those who let us use the space. I don't want to say because then other people want to be in here all the time. But thank you for coming through, man. Very happy to meet you in person and to have you do your thing for us.
No, yeah, the pleasure is mine, man. It's really fun. I'm glad I got a chance to really vibe out in here. I love the space in here, the secret location.
Right, it's a fun spot. There's all this dope art and all these other things, right? Well, if you're clever on Instagram and you were watching a live little Periscope thing, courtesy of Mike Styles, maybe you saw a little bit of what it looks like. But yeah, let's jump into to what was going on. So you just heard a live beat set again by Seveer on his SP404. Sounds Chaos Pad this time. Normally you use the Chaos Pad right, as well as part of what's going on.
He got injured in the show recently.
Those things happen. Those things things break, right? So
yeah, it's good to get a chance to so you used to just do the SP and the Chaos Pad together, but it's good to get to flex and practice doing it all in one. So
for sure. So tell us a little bit. Why don't we start off by asking you about the set?
Oh yeah, the set was kind of like it's more of it. Kind of just going with whatever. Probably got a little bit sloppy at times. Sorry, but yeah, I just had I have a bunch of beats on here that I've been working on. A few of the beats were specific tracks I have for EP coming out soon called Smithereens.
Okay.
And I have some stuff here from there were some instrumentals from MC projects I'm working on in Chicago.
Uh-huh.
And then other stuff that I just have, had working on in the studio. And some, towards the end of the set, I did all those, the last 20 minutes of the set, just off the top with drum sounds I had in the SP.
Yeah, that was very cool. Live improvisation there, and
that's
some pretty neat stuff.
Yeah, that's the way I prefer to play beat sets. I used to load up the stuff on beats to pads and everything, and that's cool if you're traveling or if you just want to play beats like that. But it really starts to become liberating when you just are making everything on the fly, especially at shows with no practice or anything. That's kind of in Chicago. It's really where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really popular style of beat set. So.
Well, tell us a little bit about where you're at. I know you're part of the Push Beats collective. Yeah. You guys have been doing weekly and monthly for a little while now. And a few of the members of Push Beats have been on this show, Hungry Bogart, Radius, DJ Moppy. I don't know if he's part of Push Beats, but I know he's probably played Push Beats a while.
Family, always family.
Yeah. And we've also had Heavy Color in here, and other people said we're part of that. So tell us what Push Beats is.
Push Beats is just a collective of like-minded beat makers here in Chicago, and I was saying earlier, every city across the country has some type of beat scene, and it's a huge internet movement. But in person, when you're doing shows, it's really just always every city a tight knit group of beat art artisan craft beat makers, and Chicago, Push Beats just represents Chicago, and we've been brothers and sisters for a minute now, and it's just a platform. My my ideal idea of what Push Beats is a non-judgmental place for cats who've been making beats in their closets or their rooms to come out and experience, playing out live and, hear, their stuff on monitors, out loud. It kind of started out as a way for cats to really just reference the beats that they're working on.
Mm-hmm.
And then it became this thing where, people started coming to hear that, and it became going from just a place to hear your beats out to playing to the community. and just developed a really tight knit family. So yeah, it's great.
And now, in terms of that, you guys have a monthly that's current, and you had a weekly, and I guess your location.
Yeah, R.I.P. Rodan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rodan was, so we started out at Locale, and then moved to Rodan a few years back, and Rodan's been like our weekly spot ever since. And yeah, they recently closed this past week. Last Monday was like our last hurrah, and yeah, and so we're really, we're on the hunt for a new venue in Chicago from our weekly, but yeah, like our monthly is strong at Double Door number 3. So yeah, we do roll there, so it's awesome.
So you guys are definitely not, you're searching for a new spot for the weekly, but you're definitely not done, and you're not stopping.
Absolutely.
It's just
we're still like, we have released. I played a good, like I told you, I played a good amount of stuff that I have coming on a couple of new releases I have coming out soon, and then we're releasing podcasts as well, and like just trying to stay busy. Like it's not the end of the world to have a change of venue. So
right. Now, as Push Beats, do you guys put out music as well, or is it primarily a live show?
Oh yeah, I hope that we would have label functions in the future, but and, we do put out compilations, but yeah, we mostly just function as far as our releases. A lot of us, some of us will have our own release platforms. Indigo High, she's in Push. She's dope. She runs Scenic Rhythms, and really dope ambient label. And L, he puts out his No Dose compilations as well, and he also does Future Science as well. So everyone has their own thing going in some capacity, but I would like Push Beats to be an entity soon. So
cool, awesome. So that's kind of a goal for the future, you would say?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. And now, speaking of in terms of labels and releases, now you're wearing a Beats of All Nations t-shirt.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that. How'd you get involved with Beats of All Nations?
Oh man, so yeah, it was really kind of just luck of the draw, I guess. I played South by Southwest a few years ago, and I was out there with Coase and L, and we out there with Insect Records crew, Explode Drawing crew.
Right.
And from there, from South by, we went to LA, and because L got us in the Beat Cinema beat battle at the very last minute, and so L got us flights to LA on the super spur of the moment, and we got in this battle, and Mike Styles was judging with Coffee, and who was the
Kofi and
Kofi.
Repeated Measures.
Nice. Right. And me and Ramon ended up getting to the finals, the top 3, and afterwards, people were giving us props for coming from the same town, on the other side of the country, representing in a major way. And so Mike came up to me and was just really supportive of what I was doing, and he insisted that we keep in touch. It was dope. He was like, I was like, yeah, we'll get at you. And he was like, I remember you were like, no, I'm for real. Really hit me up. I remember that's the first thing you said to me. And and so since then we've been kind of keeping in touch. We did soon after me and Ramon did the Beats of All Nations joint mixtape that was really fun to make. And then ever since then, just been keeping up. They do a really great job. I love Beats of All Nations, just the type of covers they do, and just they really just go 100%, and that is the craziest part to me. We're definitely, I say we because I feel like I'm part of you guys team too. We're definitely growing, and it's especially with beat shit, it's really easy to like go for like the larger platform, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And cats want to just like have the biggest reach, but we're just streaming the beats of all nations with just like how much like work and quality goes into the content and the writing. And I'm a writer as well, so I really appreciate that aspect. And then so when I release my project Constant Elevation with them, like it just like perfectly just packaged, just perfectly presented. I couldn't have been done better. So
yeah, awesome. Of course, Mike Styles is here with us as well. He helped put this together today. We can have you come through and be part of the show as well. So a huge thanks to Mike Styles for helping with that. And actually, since he's in here too, because we sort of asked both of you guys, you just put out a track on the most recent compilation that Beats of All Nations put out. So what's that? What's the compilation called, and where can people get it? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Beats of All Nations, Seasons Change is an idea Porchlight and I came up with to start featuring some of these artists that were already helping us out with the podcast and whatnot, and giving them a space to be able to put out tracks through us. So, I mean, that's big up to Seveer on that, because Sev was the first person to come at us and say, I know you guys aren't a label. I want to put something out, you know, to start in that direction. And we haven't really, you know, kind of like gone the label route yet. Like, we don't necessarily like look at it as a label per se, but it is, you know, somewhat of a foundation or a platform for artists to be able to put something out through. And so we already were working with artists, and what we're trying to do with anybody that we are doing featuring with a mix or whatever is we're trying to just help push people that we are, you know, supportive of. So it's like, okay, you do a mix, but like do a mix when you actually have another project, whether it's an EP or something big, an event that's happening. Like, let's do it, you know, just to use it as another promotional piece for you, and also put this mix out. Instead of putting it out yourself, you're putting it through another platform with a different audience, and we also feature like a whole, you know, full-on interview and background on the artist.
That's like the best part. Like, they just like have a lot of really thoughtful content, like text content, which is a lot. You know, so many beat releases these days are just like a Bandcamp drop with like 4 ironic words are supposed to go together,
triangles and stuff like that,
like trill. That's the bio of the album.
Right.
Like it's just like Beats of All Nations and, you know, Refresh Promote is like a quality relief in the beat community. So.
And then just getting back to the question of the actual the release, the compilation, Seveer is on there, Radius, also from Chicago, and Mekhi McCraven blessed us with the joint on there as well. And then we got people, Seven Sun in France, who also put out a project on Beats of All Nations. Kofi from out here in LA, his track is making big noise on the project. So it's a really, really good project. And there's a couple of cats on there that people are definitely never gonna have heard of. And you know, we start the whole project off with Ox Voyager, which a lot of people don't know him, but man, he has some serious heat. But yeah, that's on beatsofallnations.com. There's a whole like music and download section. You can go in there and get any of like our past releases, podcasts, and all that.
Cool. So make sure, you know, you're checking this out and you liked what you heard. Beatsofallnations.com for the compilation, and then you can get, of course, the link to Seveer's full length on there as well. And, you know, as far as Mr. Seveer here, if people want to hear more of your other stuff, other projects, what's the best place for people to go to just check out what you're putting out?
Yeah, SoundCloud is like mostly how I've been doing it lately. Just and, you know, just try to, you know, keep up with like Chicago rap releases, especially lately, because I got a lot of like stuff with MCs from Chicago locally. It's one cat who I'm like working with, who's I'm really having a lot of fun with right now. Is this dude Joseph Chilliams from crew in Chicago, Pivot Crew. He's really dope, like completely different style of MC lyrically. He's really great. Working on the project with AMS Nerd King. Also doing some stuff with this group called The Highest Low here, all in Chicago. Everyone's in Chicago. Really just trying to represent. I'm actually gonna be working on a mix soon of just like snippets, like sample, like singles from each project that I'm like rap project that I'm working on. So I'm trying to release an instrumental mix, Smithereens, and then the rap project as well.
Cool. So that's SoundCloud, I guess. What /Seveer?
Yeah, and I also have like the constant elevation on Beats of All Nations Bandcamp.
Right.
Yeah, Seveer at SoundCloud.
Cool.
And then there's some stuff on Feeling Music as well.
Awesome. Now, one of the things that I think we were talking about before we started the interview and things are going on is the big influence of sort of LA to Chicago, but also we've got a lot of Chicago artists lately who've been traveling to LA and playing a lot of shows. And I think recently in the last few weeks we've had a number of Chicago people, a lot of push beats guys coming through. Radius just played Low End. You're here just for a few days, more like on a personal thing. But a number of artists are kind of making it kind of a regular visit to do Chicago, LA kind of a thing and do their stuff here, which is really awesome. Which leads me to think it's like you guys just need to coordinate, and you could probably do a big old Chicago Beats showcase down in LA. That's the next project.
That sounds really awesome to do. And like Ramon, when me and Ramon were traveling together, like he said, like so he put it so elegantly. Like he's just like it's planting flags, like, and we have in the past couple months have really like laid a great flag down in Los Angeles. So we've been going out regularly, like trading gigs, building. So I would love to do go all Chicago, join out here. And what's dope about LA is that like cats really sleep on the IE. Like it. When I played that Beat Cinema show, it was awesome, and I was miles from what people just assume is the LA beat scene.
Right.
And like it doesn't matter like where you're at. It's if there's a culture of folks who are dedicated to making dope art wherever they're at. Like it doesn't matter if it's a college town or downtown or whatever. And so I love that you can play inland, you can play downtown. Like we're starting to really get a footing, which is what I think Chicago. I do want the Chicago beat scene to be platformed sooner than later. So we're really known for the juke stuff right now.
Right.
We have there's a lot of different sounds coming from Chicago.
Right. So. Right. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the only thing that's sort of missing, is that Chicago kind of becoming more of a stop for producers from all over, And
it's dope because it's like right in the middle of the country. We've had cats from all over the world play Push. Like Eloquent has come through Push like several times. He's the homie. Like a lot of AF Naysayer, down in Louisiana, it's a homie as well. Just there's so many. I could say the homie, like one after the other. And it's a great. Not only is it a great scene beats wise, but like you said, it's a stopping point. If you're an artist going from one side of the country to the other. So we made links, we made flags from New York to LA. Just continue it.
Cool, yeah, awesome. And that's one of the things that I'm happy to be a little bit of that, to have you come through, and again, having a number of Chicago and other Midwestern city based producers come through the show and all that. It's always great to hear the way that you guys sort of not only interact and when you come here and the love you show for the music that you make, but also the way that you guys interact with each other so well. And kind of bring that. It's awesome.
It's the attitude's a little bit different in Chicago as far as beats, because like we kind of all have chips on our shoulders. Like it's not like a really like spot that's like not really known for its beat scene or whatever. So we're cats that will play for I've played shows for like 1,000 people, and then I played shows for like one person. Like it that's just part. Unfortunately, or fortunately, who knows? Like the culture is like just still very, doing its own thing, and so it's nice to go from Chicago to LA because it's crazy the love that's out here. Like whenever we come here, it always blows my mind, and people just love hearing stuff from cats from other places. And same thing with anytime someone's coming through Chicago, like whether you guys coming through wherever, like we always want to get people in in a push night. It's like
awesome.
Required. So
yeah, it's a little weird because normally we're like broadcasting live and we have feedback and all this other stuff. But any specific things last minute like shout outs or anything like that? Anybody you kind of want to send a little little thanks to as we wrap up the little session here?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I came out here because my girlfriend's sister's birthday is this weekend, so happy birthday to Sarah. And I came out here on for live it up personally on a personal tip, but I also was very fortunate to be to come here ahead of schedule. So I appreciate you for having me on. It's awesome. Obviously shout out to Beats of All Nations, Porchlight and Mike, those guys do it better than anyone else. So I love those dudes. They do great work, and I want to continue to build with those cats for sure. Shout out to Push Beats, of course. My dude Lanzo, who's from Chicago, out here now in Hemet. I'm pronouncing that right. Coast, who was just here the other day. But yeah, I would love to play more out here in LA. So just keep it going, build it up. So.
Well, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have you play, and I think people, if you heard this set, especially towards the end, all those beats were made on the fly. As literally. Just sort of, oh, wow, here's some stuff, and it was did not exist before we did a little thing. So very, very much appreciate that. He went ahead and did that for us, and of course played so much of his own cool stuff. So make sure you look out for Seveer. Check him out at beatsofallnations.com. Check him out on Bandcamp through the Beats of All Nation, as well as his SoundCloud /Seveer, and you can check out the music that he's got out there. And if he's in your town, if you're in Chicago or LA or anywhere in between where he's playing, make sure you go check him out and let him know that you dig what he's doing. So thanks to everyone, and thanks to Mike Styles for making it happen as well. So till the next time, and or at least to whatever next segment is on here when we air this thing. Thank you guys all for checking it out. So we'll catch you very soon for sure.
Culture Remixed.
Yep. Thank you all. Bye-bye.